Let's take a look now at military recruitment. Pentagon leaders say it's down by 23%. Actually, they're 23% off of their annual target. This as the military is boosting incentives to reel in recruits. For example, a 6-year active duty enlistment in the Army has a sign-on bonus of up to $50,000. The new number of enlistees is lagging far behind the goal. Nick is at the NewsNation Smart Board with a breakdown of the latest recruitment data.
Yeah, Adrian, U.S. Army Recruiting Command says that awareness continues to be their biggest recruitment challenge. 50% of young people say they know nothing about military service. And when we take a look at this map, it's not hard to understand why. The majority of those who have joined the military come from just 8 states, the largest of whom coming from Texas. So it's reasonable to say that if you're not from one of these places, you may not know someone in the military, and you are less likely to see it as a potential path for you. The Department of Defense did a study of young people from the age of 16 to 21 to ask them how likely they were to serve in the military. In 2018, the fall of 2018, that number was at 13%. We have seen that number drop, that by 2021, that number was down to like 11%. The Department of Defense also went on to say, you know what? We also noticed that the likeliness of those to want to serve from 16 to 24, it drops as they age. There's a reason for this. When they asked, hey, those respondents, what would make you want to join the military? The number one reason was a financial incentive, the money, the pay. The second was the opportunity to make money for school. The third, the opportunity to travel. When asked what would possibly make you not want to join the military, it became the threat of death, PTSD, or sexual assault. In 2021, 1 in 4 servicewomen reported being the victim of a sexual assault, and the data supports this, that when they looked at that same area of respondents, 32% said that they possibly would not join the military because of fear of harassment or sexual assault. Adrian, I can tell you that as a veteran, I am proudest of my military service, but I do believe that we each have a responsibility to not only support the men and women who serve, but to also promote the value of military service.
Well, and one way to promote it would be actually to see people in uniform, which a lot of people don't see as often. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.